So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So this is my breakdown of the first assignment, really just to keep all of the parents informed and also any students that are watching this. Of course, it breaks down everything one more time so that if you have any issues, any problems, any lapses in understanding, this is a safe haven to really get back on track if you're off track. All right, so what I'm going to be going over is our first project, which is the self-reflection video. So this is for all of my classes because I want you to evaluate what you've done in the past so that you can move forward in the future. And the good thing about looking at your past events and just past performances is that you can break down everything that you did, like the things that you did well as the things that you didn't do so well, so that you can really work on those deficient areas or the areas that you need improvement in so that you can move forward and progress, because that's what this is all about. So with that said, we're going to get into it. So I'm going to pull up a few things. So number one, if you're looking for where to find it, it'll be under this assignment. I have it as the reflection video, which I'll also change to self-reflection video. I have all of this under your assignments tab. So for whatever class you're a part of right now, I'm just in my 3B class, hanging out, chilling. But this is for each class. So this same exact assignment is going to be in every single class. All right. So with that said, if I were you, I'm going to go to your student view, which is right here. And if you open up this assignment, this is what you're going to see. I'll fix this part about the points. It'll be about 25 points, just something small, but also significant enough to get us started. So with that said, these are the directions. So again, I'm not going to belabor your time or just kind of waste time, but instead I'm going to dive right into it. So the meat of it is I want you to answer these questions in a video, which I'm going to show you how to record, or at least one way to record in WeVideo, which is what this is, but you're free to use whatever editing software that you like best that you can accomplish this in. But this is a great tool, and we're going to see some great things that you can do in this quite easily, especially for this assignment in a second. So with that said, in a nutshell, you want to answer these questions in order in this video that you'll be recording, and you want to follow these guidelines after you have recorded it. All right, so again, 2 short steps. Answer these questions in a video, and then you want to follow these guidelines as you prepare this video to be turned in to me so that I can evaluate it. All right, so from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into these questions. After we dive into these questions, we're actually going to look at these guidelines. So actually, you know what I'll do is I'm going to go over the guidelines first. And for anybody that's like, you know what, I got it on the questions, I already read all of that, yada, 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 I just need to get to it. At this point in the video, you can pause it, go ahead and get to it and get that turned in and get off to a great start. For others, I'll still be here so that you can get the extra support that you need. All right, here we go. So looking at the guidelines, these are the things that you want to make sure that you have in place. So number one, you want to make sure that you have a fade at the beginning of the video to where the screen starts out as black and then your video fades on. And also you want that same fade at the end where your video fades to black. So that means that at one point your video is on the screen and then it gradually fades down to black on the screen. All right, so you got to have that fade at the beginning and at the end. Number 2, you want to create text that says your name as well as self-reflection video. So here I put a false name, John Doe, self-reflection video. All right, you want to do that exact same thing, except of course you want to change your name because your name ain't John Doe. All right, and then last but not least, now this, I'm going to change that to about at least 5 minutes. So I'll do that right now because in classes earlier today, especially even personally, it was just kind of hard to keep it down to about 5 minutes if you're really digging into the meat and bones of your past experiences, your past performance in this class. So I'm going to open that up, Boom. And I will say this about the time limit is that it definitely can't be shorter than 1 minute. So what that means is it cannot be shorter than 60 seconds, but definitely if you go over 5 minutes, I'm not going to take off any points. Keep in mind that I do have to watch all of these. So around that 3 to 5 minute mark is great for me because I can move through them fast. But at the same time, this is for your benefit. So again, anything that you have to say in there, if it's 5 minutes and 30 seconds, 45 seconds, even 7 minutes, I would rather you get that out and take that in rather than say, oh, I got to speed it up, and then you haven't really benefited from the assignment. So with that said, I'm not gonna penalize you if you go over 5 minutes, but I will penalize you if you go under 5 minutes. All right, I'm sorry, under 1 minute. All right, so with that said, there's a time limit. All right, so I'm going to update that, and just looking at it, I also, here we go, self-reflection video, update that. So the next thing is here. So as I said, those are the guidelines. So if you understand how to go through these questions, and also if you understand these guidelines, you can go ahead and get started, and you can peek back at this video at your leisure as you need it. But here we go. So I'm going to break down these questions, and then I'm going to do a live example. It won't be a full-fledged example, but again, it'll be a live example of how to create this project over here in WeVideo. So here we go. So the first question says, how did you end the first semester in this class, or end the first semester in this class? So I have some adjectives in parentheses. What did you end it in an awesome way? Were you average, or was your ending regretful? All right. So of course, there's many people on different layers or levels in this class. Some are on that awesome level where they're just killing the game. Others are average. They got a mid type of B, like an 85, a mid-level B, as well as on the other side of it, you may have anywhere from a 70 to a 75, and you passed, so that's average. And then you have the last side of it, regretful. You may have failed. So with that said, looking at all of those different levels, how did you end it? Was it awesome, average, or regretful? And so then from there, I have some other clarifying questions under this umbrella of question 1. So after you answer that, so yeah, it was awesome, I got all of the best grades, then why did you end your semester this way? Well, I wanted to get this grade, which was the A's in this class, because you would say that reason, right? And so then after that, if it ended awesome for you, how did it make you feel? Well, it made me feel great because I accomplished X, Y, Z, and I had set out to do that at the beginning. Or on the other level, it made me feel bad because now I'm gonna have to retake it, or I was 5 points away from a B, or 5 points away from an A, or 5 points away from a C. So you have all of those different variants or levels that you could take it to. But again, the object of this is being honest and really reflecting, right? You got to let that work happen. You got to be honest. Honesty is the key right here. All right. So then we got question 2. How do you want to end the current semester? So even though it just started, at the end of this semester, do you want to end it awesome? Do you want to end it as average? Or do you want to end it in a regretful way, which hopefully is something that nobody wants to end it in? So you would answer that. And so again, just like the first question, I have some clarifying questions. So after that, why do you want to end this current semester that way? Well, I want to end it awesome because I remember what I didn't get during Christmas time because of me getting that C, or because of me failing this class, or whatever. And maybe it's the other way around. Also, the second clarifying question with number 2, how will you end the current semester this way? So then, this is where you start planning. Well, in order to change it around, I'm number 1 going to stop procrastinating, because that was the toughest thing from last year that I went through. I waited until amnesty and then piled up in all of my classes, and it was too hard. So I'm going to get on it ASAP every time. As soon as it's given, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So, of course, with that one, you just want to answer what you need to do in order to make sure that it ends the way that you want it to end. So now number 3, we're almost to the end of the questions. Number 3, what are your goals in this class this semester? Simply put out those goals. Now, for some, it may seem a little redundant or like it's repeating itself with how will you get these goals, or how will you accomplish or how will you end this way this semester. But again, with this third question, it just allows you to dig a little deeper. All right. So with that said, even though in the last one on question 2, you may have only focused on getting better grades, this class is a video production class, and in video production, it encompasses, or it brings together many different skills. So out of all of these skills that you could possibly learn in this class, what do you want to get better at? Are you a world-class editor? If not, you got a ways to go. Are you a world-class cinematographer, videographer, or whatever? If not, you got a ways to go. So there's many different. Are you a world-class podcaster? Are you a world-class recorder? For like audio engineering, all of that stuff, and the list goes on. So I say all of that to say that everybody, especially under these goals, should want to get something, should want to learn something. So that's the basis behind that, is getting deeper into those goals. It's more than just a grade. It's more than just wanting to get A's, because guess what? Just wanting to get an A, it's not good enough. Your want to, it has to be deeper than that. All right, so dig a little deeper and find that. Number 4, pretty much more importantly, this is something that plagues all of us, even me, as a grown-up, so it's not just you. And I'm sure even the parents that are listening to this, if you really analyze your life, there's certain weaknesses that you have, right, that we all have, that stop us from being the best version of ourselves that we can be, or that stop us from achieving the most that we can possibly achieve. And so with that said, what weaknesses do you have to overcome to accomplish these goals? So I want you to think about those weaknesses. What is holding you back from accomplishing these goals? And this is something that I've said to a few classes today, and that I also say in many of my sessions, is that for my class, it's not yes, I'm going to give you the rigor that you need, but in video production, you don't need a LeBron James that just has this amazing ability. You don't need a Steph Curry or whoever else, a Michael Jordan that you can think of. You don't need those types of people. What you need is a person that's willing to give that effort. Because in this field, those people that give that maximum effort are turned into the LeBron James and Steph Currys and whoever else, Michael Jordans, Julius Ervings, whoever else you can think of that you're like, that is a great athlete, or that is a great whatever. That's how they're made in this industry. You got to have the want to, but you got to have the follow through and the effort. That's make or break. If you give effort, is easy to get a or at least a highly respectable grade. You know what I mean? High 80s easily. But if you don't give that effort, and if you don't get stuff done, it's the opposite. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. So now we're going to move on to good old WeVideo.com. So what I already did is I typed in WeVideo.com. So for any of your children, if you don't have access to it for whatever reason, let me know, email me, or whatever, and I can literally within seconds of responding to it, I can get you logged in to where I can send you the invite, and from there you follow the prompts and you'll be in there. So with that said, this is WeVideo. This is an online editing platform. So if you're logged in to your WeVideo account, this is what it'll look like. So I have a few extra tabs because I'm the teacher and like an admin and whatnot, because I'm able to let kids in. But other than that, this is probably the only tab that you won't see, but everything else is standard. So this is what you would see if you logged on to the site, minus my projects. All right, so we're going to dive into it. So what are you creating? You're creating a video. So with that said, and we're actually gonna record an example of the self-reflection video in WeVideo. So how do you do that? This is how. So first, I'm making a video project, and you notice, it's simple vocabulary, and I know a lot of times we just want to get into it, and sometimes we don't understand it because we haven't been on there. But literally, reading is fundamental. So here we go. Create new video, right? I want to create a new video project, but a new video. So here we go. Click on video. And so now it's made my new project. This is what a new project looks like. So right now I want to get into it. I want to start it. So I'm going to click start editing. Boom. All right. So on here, again, what I'm doing is I am recording, right? I want to record this video. So the device to use this on, yes, you can use it on your phone. Also, I would advise using it on your Surface tablet, or maybe whatever, like I know some people have Chromebooks or whatever computer device that you have, and not necessarily, and I know that the tablet isn't all the way a computer, but any one of those devices, they really, really work well, especially a computer that has the webcam. But at the very least, any device that can connect to the internet that has a webcam will do. So here we go. So on my computer, I'm going to click, or actually on here in this application called WeVideo, this website called WeVideo, I'm going to click on record because I want to record. And then I'm going to record off of my webcam. So boom. And then I'm going to click next. All right, so I'm recording off of my webcam. You can see me for real right now. I got my green screen behind me. Usually don't got that, but I'll explain why later on. So with that said, this is my setup. I like it. I love it. So here's a few things to break down before I start recording. Number one, this is where you can choose which camera you want to use to record with. So I'm recording off of my MacBook. So with that said, of course, with Apple, they got the FaceTime camera and everything. So that's why this option is there. If I had any other camera hooked up to my computer, then from there, I'd be able to select that camera. Also over here, this little microphone right here, it is called the ATR USB. That AT stands for Audio Technica for those that want to know. But with that said, that's come up as my default mic. But if I don't have that hooked up to it, then my actual default would be the MacBook Pro microphone, which is built in. So I like this microphone. I'm going to keep that. So I'm ready to record. Got my eyes or my camera set, as well as my ears or my microphone set. And so I'm ready to go. And also the other thing is I got my surrounding set, right? So I don't want kids or whoever running around in the background. I want something that's simple and plain. Also, if I move this out of the way, I got a white wall. If this doesn't hit me, I got a white wall behind me that I could also use as a plain background. So there we go. And I hate that on the side. There we go. So I'll explain that later. All right, so there we go. So imagine I am 100% set up, ready to go, locked and loaded. Boom, let's do it. So with that said, I'm going to hit start recording. Gives me my countdown, 3, 2, and 1. And now I'm officially recording online to the WeVideo platform. So on here, imagine that, I got my notes over here because, I need to know what questions I'm going to be answering. And there you go. I got everything that I need right here. So imagine that I'm answering all of these questions. So number one, how did you end the first semester in this class? Well, I ended it regretful because I failed, and I really didn't give the maximum effort that I could have because of this reason, that reason, right? You really go into it and you really explain it. So anyway, I would do that same thing with all of these questions. Make sure that you answer every question in order. I'm going to say that again. You want to answer all of these questions completely in order and really think about it. So imagine that I've answered all of these questions in order. I got my heart out and I stayed within the time limit. Again, for my personal one, I went to like 6 minutes just because I was doing it live in class, and I really, really, really went all out. But imagine, just for the sake of showing you the process, imagine that this is it. Boom, it's perfect. You got everything out that you needed to, and so you can hit stop. So then from there, you can preview it. And now I'm officially recording online to the WeVideo platform. So on here, right? So that was my voice and everything. That was the video, so you can see how it looks, and everything. And boom, you can check out if it's good or not. If not, you can hit record again. But imagine that I answered all of these questions, and I absolutely love it. So then my next option is to hit save. And so down here in this editing space, I'm going to break this down to you. So this is the WeVideo editor, right? So down here, this is where the video is. You have video tracks. First of all, this area can either be called the sequence, because you're putting clips in order, which is called sequencing. That's the verb of that, is sequencing, because you're doing that. You're putting stuff in order. Also, this is called a timeline. You see all of these ticks, and you see the time. It's on a line. But also, it's the order of things, right? So you're putting you're putting your video in this timeline or sequence. Either term works. And so, of course, that's there for me. And after you record it, if you do it the way I did it, it automatically goes in there. And so the reason why I moved this over a bit is because I want to add my title, right? Because going back over here, if you look at the guidelines, I still got my fades to put in it. I still have my title, and I've already addressed my time limit, which I'm going to change that over here too. There we go. So boom. So first, I'm going to put in my title. So again, reading is fundamental. I promise you, on here, for anybody that may not understand how to edit, like a world-class editor, whatever that looks like, again, a lot of your problems can be solved by reading. All right. So up here, I want to add, I want to add my title, right? So what is a title composed of? Words, right? Words of text. So up here, and also look at this, it has a letter on it, right? Text. So you have different types of text presets that this editing platform comes equipped with. So motion, that means that it moves, right? So for the motion text, let's say that I like this one. Boom. Got this one for size, and you can go down the line and choose whatever you want. For me, I'm old school, I'm simple. So I want me this sample text, right? This basic text. It doesn't move. That's the meaning of static, right? So if something is static in this sense, it doesn't move at all. But of course, motion, right? It has movement. So anyway, the sample text, I'm going to drag it down here in this timeline or sequence. Either term is fine. And also, you notice I have this gap right here. I don't want that. So I'm going to drag that over to the clip. Boom. And they go together. And so with my text, it says sample text. I need it to say my name and self-reflection video. So I'm going to click. First off, imagine that you haven't clicked any of the clips down here. I want to affect this one, right? This one only. I don't want to mess with this one right now because I want to affect this one. All right. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on it. Click these dots, or actually right here, and they're not dots, but these lines. I don't even have to do that. I put my mouse over the dots, and it brings me to this pencil. This pencil, if you notice, it says Open Clip Editor, right? And that's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to click on here because I need to take out the sample text and put the text that I need in it. So on here, I'm going to put Mr. Daniels self-reflection video. There we go. Boom. My self-reflection video. There it is. It's perfect. I love it. If you want to, you can make the size of it bigger, which I don't want to do that. That's just a little, just brings it a little off. But anyway, if you want to, you can play with all of that down here. You can let's look at a little bit of what this does. So this is the alignment, you know, left, right, centered. Also, you can nudge it in different places as well. So for this one, if I want it perfectly centered, which it should be now, there it is. Also, I can make it bold, italicize it, underline it. You know, pretty much almost anything that you could do on Word, you know, Microsoft Word. But anyway, whoop, there it is. And also, let me look at the color of it. Boom. So that is a box behind it. I don't really care for that. We're gonna take that out. Also, let's see what this does. There we go. So this is the color of the text. I can change this to whatever color I want, but I'm gonna keep it at white because I want it to be visible. So with that said, I hit save changes and I'm all good. So now the last part of it, and again, if you notice, I keep on referring back to these guidelines because in order to get the best grade possible, yeah, I'm gonna have to put whatever creativity and whatever else, you know, which I call, this is a slang term, but I call it the sauce, right? You know, because you can't have too much sauce. But with that said, even before I even worry about saucing up my work, I need to make sure that I have all of this down because this is what, you know, takes away points is when I don't follow the time limit, at least with having it a minute long, when I don't have that title. Also, when I don't have my fades, right? So if I follow all of these things, because remember the root word is guide, they're guiding you. You know, they're guiding you to success, right? So follow the path that the guide is taking you down. And guess what? You'll be just fine. So with that said, to seal this puppy up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my transitions, okay? And with these transitions, the only one that I want you to use, at least for this one, is dip to black. I'll explain the difference between dip to black and crossfade later, but I want you to tailor this to dip to black. So here we go. So with this dip to black, I'm going to drag it over here at the beginning of this title clip because I want my video to fade up at the beginning from black, right? So if you notice right now, this is called the playhead. It's at the very beginning of the video, and guess what? My screen is black, right? If I press my space bar, which is like play, look at that. It fades up just like I wanted it to. So I also told you that you got to have a fade at the end, because I want you to fade it out to black. And if you notice, I'm taking from the transitions, right? So this dip to black transition, if I put it in this top tracker layer, guess what? It's red, right? Red means, at least in this instance, means bad, right? So that means that it's not going to work. Stop doing that, right? But if I put it at the end of the clip, you notice it turns green. That's like it communicates go, you know, that's good, right? So again, remember that, because everything is done for a reason. The reason why the software engineers did that is to subconsciously make you understand that. Okay. So again, if it's up here and it's red, it's wrong. But if it's at the end of the clip and it turns green, that means it's going to do the effect that you want it to do. So boom. So you can hit, and it faded it out. It's like I wanted it to. All right. So now the last thing is over here. I need a transition right there. I don't want my video just popping up. And now, right, it just pops up out of nowhere like ooga booga. You know, this is not Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, I want a little gradual transition. So, and with that said, I'm gonna drag this dip to black over here, right? And then it's green, so that means that I can drop it. So it fades it like this. And now boom. So that, it was gradual, it wasn't drastic. That's beautiful. All right. that's palatable to the eye. That means that it's pleasing. It doesn't confuse people to watch it. It puts them at peace. That's what you want. All right. So with that said, this project, imagine that I recorded this for real. And at this point it's done because I got my transitions. I got my title with the right words in it. And, I got my video. I'm good. Transitions in the beginning, transitions in the end, and even I'm putting the sauce on it, transitions right there, because I want it to be that good. And guess what? I've done my job. So now to seal the deal, at least in WeVideo, I'm going to click finish. And I'm going to put a fake name in here. I'm going to say Mr. Actually, I'm going to just put a second draft. So Mr. Daniels self-reflection video. I'm going to say edit 2. Boom. And then there we go. So now that I'm exporting it, I have a few different, at least in WeVideo, I got a few different things to look at. So number one, the resolution. Me doing video for a while, I want to get the best out of it. So if it was me doing it, I'm going to do it HD, right? Because I want to get the best out of it. All right. So that's really the only thing I would change here. If you want to upload it directly to YouTube, you have this icon where you can click on it and it'll prompt you to put in your YouTube credentials so that it can export it directly to YouTube. But the greatest option on here, and also you got Google Drive too, but the best option in my opinion, the best fail-safe option is this one right here, which is WeVideo. So on here, I'm the admin over every class that I have at Westlake. So there's no way that I won't be able to see it if it's submitted in this way, which I'll get to what the link looks like to it. So in order to export it, which is to mix all of those, to mix my video with my transitions and also with my title and everything, this is how I do it. So this one is selected, which is WeVideo. I'm going to click export. And so now it's going to be exporting. So while we give it a little while to export, what exporting is it's when all of the elements that you're editing together, like imagine your editing space as a collage, right? So especially for my parents that are really old school, imagine going back, I'll say to maybe not kindergarten, because, scissors weren't a big thing back then for safety reasons, but I'll fast forward it to like second grade. Imagine in the English portion of your elementary class, and imagine y'all are doing whatever with putting together words and cutting it out of magazines. So if you notice, imagine that you cut out 5 different words to describe who you are. So if you notice, at first on that piece of paper, you can place them wherever. But if you, at any point, if you haven't glued it down, but you pull that paper up, everything else is flying straight down to the ground, thanks to gravity, right? But, and I'm going to tie this in now, the great thing about exporting is that after you have all of those pieces in your collage where you want it, or in video editing, after you have all of your clips, titles, transitions, and all of that where you want it, the exporting process is where everything starts to stick, where you glue everything down to where this piece of paper and all of these words or pictures that you cut out become one thing. Just like on this video editing application, the videos, pictures, text, transitions, whatever you use that were once many different things, after this process, they become one thing. Okay, so this binds everything together. All right. So with that said, from here, if I were you, and I've already done my project, I just exported it. The last part of it is you want to take this link and you want to go to the assignment on Teams and you want to submit that. All right. So do not upload your video directly to the Teams platform because it's going to be too big because there's a file size limit on there. And since it's too big, it's going to give you an error message. And then more than likely, you're going to come back to me and say, hey, Mr. Daniels, it won't upload. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm telling you now. And then it delays part of the grading process where you got a 2 in the grade book or a 1 in the grade book. And then it finally works. And, it just makes a tiresome, unwanted situation, I think, on both parts. So with that said, do it right the first time so that so I don't have to worry about putting anything crazy in the grade book and then cleaning it up later after you clean up what you got to clean up. So let's just make it smooth the first time around. All right, so that is the process. So I hope that this video was helpful and informative, and I hope that you get a lot of success from this. So with that said, this is Mr. Daniels signing off. Do well. And if you have any questions, let me know via email, in class, or whatever, so I can get back to you. And personally, especially for students in class, I love to hear you voice whatever concerns that you have or ask me questions, because then I can answer you directly. That's my preferred method, and that's really the easiest way. So I can break stuff down. Just like I broke this down, I can break nearly anything down. Just let me know so I can have the opportunity. So with that said, have a great night, and I'll catch you the next time around. Take care.